peace. I live my peace into the world.
All right, so that gets things going, all right? And I have another one for you. This morning when I went outside, I went to get coffee at 8 o'clock. I went, wow, it felt pretty good. Did y'all notice a little lower humidity? Not quite as hot. And so this is what I thought. That was too much fun. It came to me this morning. And now, of course, it's okay, the dog days of summer. It's going to get hot a little bit as we go along today. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. Welcome to August. That's that last little bit of summer. But it is kind of, we're facing some changes coming up in this month. In fact, that's the theme of the month, is change. And I was just in Maynard, Arkansas. That's slightly north of Pocahontas, and it's kind of very rural school, but it's just amazing, those teachers, and they're getting ready for school, and that's a big change. There was a lot of changes I had to deal with those teachers, and we'll be glad to see the heat of summer go eventually, but we will be sad to see the freedom of summer go. Good, bad, it goes with its territory. But the main thing is we're all in this together. Oh, it's cooler today, isn't it, Lorraine? So you're here. I'm so glad to see you. So, welcome Zoomers, and just welcome to this beautiful community. I don't see any first-timers, but all are welcome here. It's the right place and the right time. And we are inclusive. That's part of our vision and mission, to be inclusive. So let's create the space. And I'm going to first pin myself. And then I'll do this, okay? So, hands on your heart, gather. Maybe you were scattered as you had to rush around and get ready this morning. But now oh, what a beautiful day. We are here. And do you feel your wholeness and yourself? And we open our hearts and minds. And then we open up to our community. So much fun to begin this service with you all today. And you let me be silly and dance. Thank you. I love this community. And we open to our teachers. Whether it be ascended masters or my 3-year-old granddaughter or your neighbor, just whoever is, we learn from one another. We are all teachers. And then this space, we are just so grateful for the changes that we've been through in the last year. Here we are in this space, and we open to whatever is going to come our way here. And then we create a space for our unity teachings. We are so grateful. Be it affirmative prayer, 12 powers, daily word. This is a wonderful place to be. And finally, we create the space just for all that is, all that is. We are in oneness with this great big universe. We just bring everything down together. And we begin. So, let us say our opening statement together. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God, the good, the omnipotent. Our vision is that we are that unified, diverse world, embracing divine connection and inclusion for all. And let us say our mission together. Together, we shine light, peace, and love by empowering and transforming lives through experiences of service and community. Do y'all have that down yet? I can't. I know the words, I know the main words sometimes, but I can't always make the statement. But I always think about empowering and transforming, and our service in our community. And hang on a second, I had to pull up the Daily Word. So, okay. So, do I have a volunteer to light the Christ candle? Yeah, Angel. There we go. Thank you. And we've got that on. Okay.
Good morning. We utilize the Christ candle to acknowledge our inner wholeness, wisdom, and peace. This spark of divine consciousness represents the truth of our being. We light this candle as a symbol of our divine light, so we may remember the light that shines in each one of us.
Well, it's a beautiful animation.
Ah, yes.
That looks like a flame.
We have a flame going, don't we? Well, we always have that flame going, but it's cool to see it, isn't it? Yeah.
You're gonna have to tell me how you did that.
I think that may be a Russ thing. And he's back there. So, our daily word is truth. So, I've got it here on the phone. Would anyone, Lorraine, I didn't prepare you for this, but would you be willing to read? We're so glad you're here, so I really want to welcome you. Okay, I was going to read Paul's version, but that's okay.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Glad to be here.
We're glad you're here.
Mike.
Mike, the microphone.
Mike.
Okay, she's a little out of practice, that's
Yes,
all.
I am. It's been over a month.
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay.
Okay, the daily word today is truth. I speak my truth with clarity and compassion. Living in an increasingly polarized world, I am aware not everyone will share my perspective or see life the way I do. As much as I want to live harmoniously with others, I also want to stand up for what I believe, what I know is true for me. I appreciate that others feel the same way about their beliefs.
Yes.
I speak my truth. I center myself in my divinity while acknowledging the divinity in all others. I am honest and grounded, staying steady if someone does not agree with me. Likewise, I receive others' truths as I would want them to receive mine. The presence of God is within me. I am a spiritual being, living with integrity, speaking words of truth and spiritual power. These are the things that you shall do. Speak the truth to one another. Render in your gates judgments that are true and make for peace. Zechariah 8:16. And the affirmation today, speak together. I speak my truth with clarity and compassion.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Paul added the word integrity, but that is just as we have our own beliefs, we honor others. Wouldn't it be wonderful? Oh, an impossible dream. Can we just talk about it? Can we just share? We don't have to change one another, but we can accept one another. And then our love kind of models that, oh, okay, maybe there can be, maybe we can come together on some of these issues. So, the daily word, I mentioned the things in unity, affirmative prayer, daily word. Prayer is so important. Silent unity stands over prayer 24/7. And we have our prayer box. And I just recently emptied it and took it up to Unity Village. So be aware that you're welcome to add your own prayers, and we will send it to Unity Village. So affirmative prayer is just an opening and an expansion and where we claim our divine identity. So let's come together in prayer. Oh, I invite us to relax and open, to open minds and heart to whatever teachings we receive today. May we get those bits of truth that are always present, that is always at our center. For we know that God is life, love, and wisdom, inexhaustible, unlimited possibilities. That is what's so open to us. May we receive that. I know and trust the flow of life and gracefully play my part. I am fully conscious of my breath and body, the vitality and the power of life that is ever present. I feel that energy. It empowers me. I create energy and vitality. I initiate myself into my own joy and ecstasy. And I gather the abundant resources to live wholeheartedly. I connect to this earth, this community, this world. And I deeply know the sacredness of all experience and share my awareness with others and speak that truth that we talked about in the daily word. I appreciate this community. I appreciate all the changes that have gone through my life, that continue to go in my life as I expand my awareness and my realization of my divine self. And so it is. Amen. Amen. So I've had fun with music this morning, and this is a song that came to me because I'm going to be talking about change, and I just couldn't help this, from the 70s. Now, do you know that that song is about 50 years old?
Yeah,
50! Oh my gosh, does that not age some of us?
But nothing's changed.
Oh, but nothing. Oh, but really? Right.
oh man.
Well, of course, that's one of David Bowie's anthems. Huh? Bowie. Excuse me. Oh, okay. I did it wrong. Okay, thank you. Okay. But the lyrics encourage us to confront and accept the unknown and to adapt to this ever-changing world. So there is that. And look at the changes that Bowie went through, right? I mean, he had so many different versions of himself, and he was just a genius, though. I mean, that was the, the unchanging part of that. So anyway, thank you all. That was fun. So, change, a gift of tomorrow. Sometimes we like change, sometimes we don't. It's such a big topic. It's such a big topic that it's in a 5-Sunday month. And Russ, you've got the next 2 Sundays on it. So I'll see what I get started here. Well, so changes or transitions are something we go through daily, yearly, seasonally, in a lifetime, historically, cosmically. think about every change you made to get here in this space today. Did you hit snooze or did you bounce out of bed? Did you linger over coffee knowing you had to finish getting ready to get out the door? No, Betty and I were talking about this last week. The inertia we have at making that change to get out the door. Think about the baby learning to crawl. Think about us old folks as we age. And some of it's good and some of it, oh, well, you got to take both kinds of changes. So have you ever stopped to contemplate your life with like an inner mirror or perhaps an inner movie of all the changes you've gone through? I've done that sometimes and I marvel at, wow, I got through that, or I went through that, or I remember things, even in elementary school, that were big challenges, but then I look at how I responded to it, and I go, yeah, I guess I've handled a whole lot more than I thought. In fact, I've learned I get knocked down again, but I seem to get up. So far. Well, have you ever time traveled back to the child who bravely figured out how to survive something? Or maybe to the young adult who drew on resilience and courage, maybe over a lost job or divorce or a relationship that ended. But then there's celebrations too. The young adult that got the great new job or got a book published or just some grand thing that they challenged themselves to do. So there's so many celebrations and mornings in life's transitions. Do we embrace them? Well, we resist them a lot sometimes, but then sometimes they're just inevitable and you just can't do anything about it. So you may as well accept, but it's going to be a process. Eventually, have you looked back at some changes and you go, well, that really was a gift. I sure hated going through it, but I came out on the other side. So maybe there was a purpose for this. Well, no one likes change but a wet baby. Now, you may have heard this before. I first heard this from our good friend Colleen Brown. And Colleen has been a mentor to me through all of our stuff at Unity of Little Rock. She visited here recently, earlier this summer, I think in June, and she's just wonderful. And she told me that one time, and I've always thought about it. Well, let's look at Unity of Little Rock. Here's a timeline. And there have been times when we've gone through upheaval. There's been times like when the Quimby's were here, that was a pretty long run for ministry. And Reverend Earl Anderson had a long run. But, toward the end, after 2008, we really went through a lot of changes. And as we know, we sold the building, on 9/20/24 last year. But was that not a process? Yeah, do you remember? Making the decision, having to accept the decision. We kind of got into this middle ground I'm going to talk about a little bit today. It's kind of, where there was, resistance, yet we had movement and had to keep going. And, it was uneven too. There were some people that were just ready to sell the building and some who were saying, no, why are we doing this? So we had to work through all of that. But now we're here. And an event that I've added is in 2025 in March when we set our vision and our mission. I really mark that as kind of the new beginning. Coming here was still maybe part of the process. But as the space has become more and more friendly and beautiful to us, and then we did that process of setting that vision, I think we're poised for yet another cycle. And I hope that we change and grow. We don't want to stop, okay? But we did get through that. That was a really big one. in 2024 to the present. So, and I did say, you know, we've been talking about we thrive, and we thrive, we have moments of clarity, and we set intention, we take action, we create, and all those things, that clarity, that intention, so forth, it all kind of gets summed up in the process. And it was a process to do that. It, you know, now that it's done, it's still ongoing. Don't let it be, all right, this is in concrete, this is the way we are. No, we got to live it, and we got to keep changing with that. I think we're set to thrive, but we got some work to do. And I love this. We empower and transform lives through experience of service and community. That transformation that is we talk about, it comes from growing through change. Now, all the personal work we do and the work we do as a community, that impacts collective consciousness. And you've probably heard this statement, in our present age of uncertainty, perhaps the only thing that is certain is that life will change. Well, guess what? This is a quote out of this book, Finding Yourself in Transition. It's written by Unity minister Robert Brunnett. And did you ever meet Robert Brunnett? I thought you might have. He's a prolific writer in Unity. But he wrote this book in 1995. So he said it then, and we know for sure this statement, I mean, you just apply it to any year, any generation. For sure, we always feel this way. We are experiencing and witnessing more changes than certainly our ancestors, especially in the 20th and the 21st century. And even now, the 21st century, I think it's happening faster than it did in the 1900s. Like, we had that Industrial Revolution in World War II, and that just changed things a lot. And, y'all could look at the end of 1950 to 2000, and then, just think about it. There's some of us, okay, we could look at a telephone to a smartphone. What about record players? Some of us grew up with real vinyl, right? And that, there's all kinds, and AI. Now we're going through AI. And in fact, the technology changes faster than we can keep up with any sort of regulation or, wondering about the ethics of it. Is it going to get misused? It's just changing so fast. But there are changes not only in technology and lifestyle and politics, but also in the way we perceive ourselves and the way we perceive the universe. Okay, there was the flat Earth. Okay, the Earth was the center of the universe, and then now we have the Webb and Hubble telescopes, and we see way out into outer space. We understand the infinity of the galaxies and everything. So, wow, that has changed. And we have quantum physics now. The way we explain the world is so different. But then we also have interchanges too. And that's been going at a faster clip as well, because there used to be mystery schools that we didn't have access to. And I think, honestly, because of Zoom, there's so many ways to learn about different spiritual groups, different religions. We can experience things because of the technology that we have. Perhaps it's the way that we have to confront the unknown and the way we change it. It can rip the ground from under us. And it's that change really kind of stirs up anxiety and fear. I mean, sometimes it's something we really want to happen, but sometimes there's a lot of resistance to it because we lose our ground of being, our comfortable identity in our social role. Brunnett says, ironically, change, a dying to the old, is one of the defining characteristics of growth. To live is to grow is to change, And to change is to die to the old way. There's little deaths all the time. Little deaths. I wonder if there we go. So unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. This quote from John. And another one, the Apostle Paul claimed, I die every day. There are little deaths every day. These moment by moment little deaths, they give rise to new life and to real presence. That's living in the moment, letting go of even just the past moment. That's quite something. So how can we handle change? Some transitions occur by choice, and of course others are thrust upon us. Some come very suddenly, just like moving with this church. That was a big process. Some are predictable and some aren't. Some are pleasant, some aren't. There's 3 phases about change, though. Each transition actually begins with an ending. Begins with an ending. We release the old before we embrace the new. And that next stage feels kind of like an emptiness, and Brummett calls it the void. It's a sense of wandering in the wilderness. It's a transformation that's taking place. It's between the no longer and the not yet. It's a good song by Janice Stanfield. Between the no longer and the not yet is a place that we can't see yet, but we're waiting patiently for. It's waiting patiently for us. And finally, we come to that last stage where we do have something that's new. We change from the inside out. The external circumstance may be the very last thing to change. But they do reflect all the internal transformations that have taken place. I think we could say that about our recent move. Finally getting here. Well, by then, that was that final step, that final manifestation of all that we had been through. Well, this process is very much, there's the names. The endings, the void, and the new beginnings. Now, the hero's journey,
I just wanted to call out that we're talking about one of our core values right now.
Oh, we absolutely are. Thank you very much. Yes, we are. And we empower ourselves to make the transformations of the changes. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And really, transformation is kind of at the end of this transition. There's a slight difference in the words, So anyway, yes, thank you for calling that out. So I've often referred to Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, and so it's kind of like that. You start from the ordinary world. The hero starts from the familiar, from the baseline, and then there's this call to adventure, an event or an invitation, and sometimes we get pushed into it. It's not necessarily a called, a friendly invitation maybe, but it is the beginning of change, and it's ending to that familiar life and world. Now, here's where the resistance goes on. We refuse the call, and we initially hesitate and have that resistance, and then we might meet a mentor or a guide or something that's going to help us get through, and it provides tools. And guess what? The mentor can even be ourselves, our divine self. But it can be our community. We work through it as a community, or you work through it with a real live mentor. And then we cross that threshold. I remember, this was kind of funny last year. Remember, we thought we were going to move, and I had this big thing planned about crossing the threshold. That was in September. And Travis was there. And we went out to the backyard, and we had this wonderful thing where we sang the peace song. And then, dadgummit, we didn't get to go. We had to postpone it. We had to postpone it. Man, that just ruined my perfect ending. And well, that was a change, and I had to accept it, man. I even got on the phone with Beverly, and I said, "Oh, Beverly, I know we can just get over there. Everything's going to work out." And she said, "No, now this is getting a little iffy." Well, it worked out, of course, but that was funny how I had to accept that. But anyway, and then, but once you've decided to cross the threshold, there is that unknown. You're in the unknown. And sometimes we go through an initiation, and it focuses on all the adventures and challenges within this special world. And then we return and have our new beginnings. Well, maybe we're still kind of in the void. Maybe we really still don't know, what the ending is. But we kind of know, okay, we're here. Now what? So it could be that. You just never know, how is the process ending, or is it ongoing? Oh, change is just forever, I think. So, and then it also reminds me of Brene Brown's process of, in her book, Rising Strong. I'm not going to go into the details, but the process is, some of you really know Brene Brown's work. It's the reckoning, the rumble, and then the revolution. And so there's, there is that, those words suggest we're, things get up in the air, and we have to deal with it. But no matter how we name the stages of the process, they're just very much a part of life in stories and cultures, and even in sacred texts. And as Apostle Paul said, put off your old nature, which belongs to your former manner of life, and be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and put on the new nature, created after the likeness of God, or just like our divine self. So, now from a young age, we carry a set of primary questions. Who am I? What is real? What is my life about? And what is my place in the world? Really, that's the pretty basic stuff. And early on, we formulate answers to these questions, and we carry them around for a long time. Sometimes they're not even, they're just answers that we adopted to survive, but they're not necessarily meant to go our whole life long. And yet we kind of hang on to those answers and those identities and those roles that we create. So I want to look more closely at this process that I talked about, endings, the void, the new beginnings, but I'm only going to take the ending part, the beginning of what happens when we change. And every breath, every activity, every relationship has a beginning and an end. And we're great at celebrating endings, but not so much the ending. We're great at celebrating the beginnings, but not so much the endings. We have a tendency to either understate or overstate the importance of the ending. So we can have, I don't want to do that one yet. What we have is, when they're understated, we fail to acknowledge the impact of the ending. We might say, oh, let's just get on with it. Have you ever done that in life? Something pretty dramatic happened, and yet you just wanted to go on. Okay, it is what it is, I'm just going to move on. But you don't question the feelings that it may bring up. We could bury grief, for example. As a result of our denial or our bypass, many of us carry a reservoir of grief from losses in our life. And we do that spiritual bypass. Oh, everything's for good. I don't see the good in this yet, but okay, I just am going to trust. It's all good. It's all good. And we don't deal with that ending. We don't fully deal with if it's a loss or a big change. And then sometimes we overstate the ending. We get a little too dramatic, and we take it a little too seriously. Now, to be sure, an ending is a permanent loss, of something or someone. But what is not lost is the possibility of a new beginning. What is not lost permanently is our ability to live and to love and to enjoy life. Now, think about it. Have you ever had a relationship where you thought life is over, this relationship ended, it's just over, that's it? But that wasn't it. You know, but we think it is. Or, oh my God, I got evaluations as a professor, and I would think every spring, how am I going to come back from this? You know, but then really, what is the truth? The truth of it. And I know that I went through a lot of big processing with that, and I've learned to accept my strength and what I was as a member of that department and what my gifts were, instead of letting others with their paradigms determine what my value was. And but it took a while, because the first couple of evaluations, I probably was way too dramatic about it, way too, you know, it's over. In fact, I'll never forget one thing. My dad, I was going for the process of tenure, and my dad said, "Jeannie, what are you going to do? What if they don't give you tenure?" And I thought a minute, and I said, "I'm going to teach math." And then I realized, you know, I will have a job. No, this is not the end. I mean, it could be an ending at UCA. It turned out not to be that way. But, you know, and once I let go of that, then everything started working out. It was kind of amazing. And I'm sure you all have had things like that happen in your life. So, as I said, we have these questions. And all of these, early on, all these questions are impacted from an ending in 4 different ways. So I wanted to look at that. Oops, going the wrong direction, excuse me. So there's disengagement, disidentification, disenchantment, and disorientation. So the disengagement challenges the beliefs we have formed about ourselves and our place in the world. The more someone or something means to me, the more of myself I have invested. I am in fact cut off from that part of me that the other represented. I've lost a part of myself. And I guess that would come like with the end of a relationship. If you think, you know, that line from Jerry Maguire, "You complete me," like they're half of you. Well, to lose that, it's, you know, you feel like you've really had a death of part of yourself. So in letting go of who we imagine ourselves to be, letting go of our thinking, our attempts to control the world, we come upon our natural being, which has been waiting patiently all these years for us to come home. I guess if you think about those moments that you've had to reckon with that, you do get closer to who you are, you know, if you really go inside and do the work. So then we come to disidentification. It shatters the way we answer, who am I? So you're losing your identity. You're no longer, well, for me, there was a time I was no longer the doctor's wife. Okay, so now what? You know, when we label ourselves certain ways and then we lose that identity, it really leaves us a little groundless, doesn't it? And then there's disenchantment. Well, okay, when you were little and you had to give up Santa Claus, you had to, that's an obvious one. But there's things that, it results from a break in our sense of what is real. So what serves as a stepping stone at one point in our life may become a stumbling block in another. We release what no longer serves us. So I used to believe used to have to really dress up and get out in the world and be fancy. And then I realized, no, I don't. There's another way, so you get these beliefs of how you need to show up or what is true in the world, and it serves you at a time, and then you get to a later stage in life and you go, and you start questioning that. Is that really serving me? So, I don't know, if anyone has any. Yes?
When you retire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, retirement is a really big deal, and it's taken you a while to get to this decision, hasn't it?
I'm still in this identification and this incentive, right? Yeah.
You're all in it, huh?
Right.
But also, you took time. You've been in a process
Right.
and you've been in it with awareness, right?
Right. Oh, yes, right.
And so, in a way, you have this knowing. Am I saying the right thing? Because this is from my conversations with you. You really, I think you're ready. You have this
I
knowing.
sort of am. Yes, I am, and no, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Okay. All right, that's good. That's good.
1 month to go, and I found myself, clinging back to, like sort of wanting to go back and thinking, who am I? What's then? What now? So,
Well, I used to think that they were going to carry me out of the classroom feet first, and then I announced that I was going to retire. Now, it took me a full year to clean out my office and to get ready, but once I did it, y'all, I haven't been back to UCA. I really haven't. It was just something I put down, and it's not anything I'm avoiding. It's just I'm having fun with a different world. So these things are not always meant to be negative, but they are definite things we go through, and it's kind of difficult. But going through it with awareness, that is, to me, a really key point. So, and then there is disorientation. I don't know, though. I wasn't very disoriented after retirement and getting to sleep that's just fine with me. but there is disorientation. What about, you lose a spouse dies. Well, it's got to be very disorienting to, suddenly your whole routine has changed. Suddenly you feel like an alarmed aloneness. Or even when a parent dies, my mother was hanging on for 3 years in a nursing home, but then she was gone, and there was that, wait, don't we still have to go out to Parkway Place? You lose that routine in your life. Yes, Jeanette.
I'd like to look at it more, you say it's power of words, right? So retirement is I get tired over and over and over again. Rewirement is I'm changing the way that I approach life and what I'm doing. So I'm rewiring myself for a new experience.
And James Buchanan told me that when I retired, and I definitely understand that, yes.
You don't want to get tired every day.
Yeah.
Rewired.
Yeah. Now I know that there's younger people in here, so y'all aren't looking at that, but there's someone in here who's got a new job, and he's an excellent tutor of one-on-one, but he's going to be changing and getting used to managing a classroom. So Aster, how are you feeling about all this?
Well, in some way, it's invigorating.
Right.
It's invigorating. There's a challenge.
Yes.
In some ways, I wasn't being fully challenged by the work that I was doing.
Okay.
And I'm definitely being challenged now. And that's invigorating.
That is a wonderful way to look at it. It is positive. And remember, you're not alone. You got support, buddy. We want you to succeed at this. And I think that you're going to contribute a lot. But I know, listen, I've been baptized in fire in the classroom. So get ready. But you will do it. So, well, before all the modern advances, cultures were more attuned to nature. Survival depended on your being harmonious with nature's flow. Spiritual lives weren't necessarily separated from everyday lives, but today we have so much planning and scheduling and Arkansas state standards that you have to teach, and frameworks and policies and regulations. We've got a whole different kind of world, and we've become parts of systems and institutions. And the needs of the individual have in many ways been usurped by the needs of the system. So Brummett says, operating mechanically and separately from our divine nature, we tend to favor functionality, convenience, and predictability over trusting the wisdom of the process. The wisdom of the process. It can't be rushed, but it can certainly be taken to prayer and meditation. And see, that's the toolbox that we Unitics have. The answer to those 4 questions may have been very human for you at one point, but what we're working on in our transforming our lives and empowering ourselves is remembering that we're 100% divine as well as human. And so we must turn to that divine identity. Pam, show your little drawing, your art. So Pam created this beautiful art piece with the 12 powers, and y'all can come look at it after we're done. But it's just really beautiful art, and it came kind of from a meditative way of creating art. Neurographic art. And yeah. So, I want us to bring the 12 powers in and to think about how we can navigate change. Like, with faith, I can look beyond the appearance of a changing situation to find truth and trust what has not yet appeared. With understanding, I make sense of this experience and I learn from it, and I realize my divine identity in that experience. And I could go on. That's just 2 powers, but we've got 12. So I did want to summarize. I think, Angel, didn't you put the August letter in the newsletter about change?
It's on the website.
It's on the website. So go to the website and you can get, Reverend Becky still writes us every month. So we've got Reverend Becky's letter about change. And she says change can make us feel an alarmed aloneness, but in oneness, we are ever connected to the one mind, the one power, and the one presence. Change, therefore, is something we don't face alone. It is part of the larger divine plan for our lives. The affirmation that we have that change is a gift of tomorrow helps us align with the divine guidance, trusting that the changes we experience are leading us toward greater fulfillment and purpose. If we embrace it as a gift of tomorrow, it invites us to trust the process of transformation and to view each moment of change as a divine opportunity for growth and renewal, empowerment and transformation. So in the coming weeks, we're going to complete lessons on change. So we've got more coming. But let's come, and I wanted to remind you of the process. These are all the themes we've had in 2025. And we thrive even through obstacles and through changes. And so I think it all works together. So let's take a moment. I'm going to do a kind of a loving kindness meditation this morning. So let's come together and settle. The breath. Get in touch with your breath. Feel the movement of your breath flowing in, flowing out. Through the breath, I sense the power of this present moment. Breathe intentionally, a whole body breath, energizing your entire body. Inhale and energize, and then exhale and release. Faith Center is up here, and it's this color of blue, and I feel that blue flooding me. Flood the energy. Imagine faith enlivening every cell, and feel the strength, the standability in your spine, and focus on the splendid order of my body working for my vitality. Focus on the order of my community working for our thriving wholeness. Put your hand on your heart. Connect with yourself. Connect with your beautiful presence. And give yourself the wisdom. May I be at peace with the changes in my life. Just say that to yourself a couple of times. May I be at peace with the changes in my life. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. Now call to mind someone you know who's struggling right now. Maybe you imagine they're here with you. Visualize them. Have a sense of their presence. With hands on your heart, offer, may you be at peace with the changes in life. May you be at peace with the changes in life. May you feel the loving kindness you need to support the changes in life. May you be peaceful and at ease. I am happy. So, as we go out in the week, reflect on changes in your life. The little transitions, because every day there's little transitions, and then the big events. Process them through the endings, the void, and the new beginnings, and take that process to prayer and meditation. So, all right, at this time, we get back. So we have someone with the basket.